We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out.
So this is a little bit of a different recording because this is a spoiler cast. This is different from our normal movie clubs because this is a movie that Mike and I have both seen, and we just need to talk about it. I have pulled up the plot of Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse, sorry. And it's a pretty detailed list of, like, everything that happens, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Where do we want to start this off? Do we want to start this off with the fact that, like, they did the thing and they don't show Miles for quite a while?
Yeah, that was a very, I think, interesting decision that if I'm being objective, I don't know how I feel about. Because, hear me out, I understand this is more than a Miles movie, but at the end of the day, this is very much a Miles and friend movie, and it's still like, Miles is the linchpin of it. And
I think it was great that they completely subverted expectations, right? Like, all the marketing for this film was Miles Morales, which, you know, was an interesting play on, like, hey, we're gonna mess with kind of the MCU style of when they did the Endgame and Infinity War, where they're messing with the marketing purposely to give you a, you know, subverting expectations. And first off, this is the coolest Gwen Stacy, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Spider-Gwen, specifically this Spider-Gwen, is, they're going to make a movie about her. Whether Sony wants to or not. I think Sony would want to, just because these movies make a shit ton of money, but...
It is, as we are talking, the most successful Sony animated picture ever.
That's not saying much.
Sure, but it is, like, interesting that this is the film that said it, when, like, the first one, like, while it was a critical darling, was not a commercial darling in the same way.
Yeah.
Well, this one, I think, was both.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those movies where having the previous film helps a ton, yes, but also it's one of those where I don't know if it really would have mattered in the same way. You know what I mean? Like, it
matters in the way of you don't have to introduce Miles, but it's also interesting in the sense of, like, so obviously this film ends and it brings back the old team together, right?
That was a huge surprise, I will say that.
Yeah, 'cause I assumed they were in Miguel O'Hara's, like, just group. Like, I just assumed, like, if we saw them, it'd be, like, in a fight kind of stuff where Miles has to go through all of his past.
Yeah, I was kind of figuring, right, the fight up the train. There was going to be a turning point in that where, whether it's Spider-Noir or Spider-Ham, like, one of the characters from the first movie shows up, and it's like, oh, suddenly, like, it's tough, right, because who's the bad guy in this, right? It's weird to say Spider-Man, because it's Miguel O'Hara. Miguel O'Hara is clearly the bad guy in this film. And so, you know, do you have a scene? I was thinking there was going to be a scene, right, of, what's the anime one? Hold on.
What do you mean what's the anime one?
Penny Parker.
Yeah.
You know, I was fully expecting like Penny Parker in her mech to start climbing up the train and try to talk Miles into into changing his mind. But yeah, I mean the fact that also the way that they introduce the portal by pulling in a well-known Spider-Man villain in the Vulture, but making him a Renaissance era, like
That was such a cool intro.
Paper Mario-esque. And that's cool because it shows, at least in in the way that I see the Lord Miller Spider-Verse, the characters are whatever era they're from, right? Or whatever universe they're from. So Renaissance Vulture was 2D. Right? He was paper. And then everyone else is like a 3D image. Including the Lego one, which I thought was hilarious.
Which I thought the Lego stuff was like. I like how he works for him too.
Yeah. The Lego one was really cool, but so yeah, it was awesome that they took that approach of, hey, people are going to be crossing universes, but just because they do doesn't
Mean
bring
anything?
them into the universe in the same way that everyone else is. So it was that introduction of Renaissance Vulture mixed with that initial reveal, right, of Miguel O'Hara, and then you find out that he has basically control over the multiverse.
Which I want to talk about that for a second, right? What is the level we think that Miguel O'Hara truly understands this versus gonna be one of those infamous like bait and switch of there's something he doesn't see? Like I'm assuming that's the twist.
Oh,
right?
1,000%, right? Like the twist for Beyond is that you can break canon events.
And also, I want to talk. This is the big thing I want to discuss in this film, and we kind of alluded to. We kind of decided to do this, right?
Yeah.
So this film is interesting to me in the sense of there's Peter Parker's, right, and they're the default Spider-Man. Obviously, we saw Gwen Stacy be Spider-Man. We saw Miguel O'Hara. We saw I forget his partner's name. I am riffing. Why?
Jessica Drew,
Yeah.
Spider-Woman. Yeah.
What I find interesting of all of this, though, is that Miles is the only special one. And that, to me, is that thing I'm super torn on of, like, it makes sense, like, on paper, but, like, when you really sit down and think about it, how much does it make sense?
I mean,
also,
the great part,
the thing
too,
I'm
is,
confused by... No, I wanted to talk about the one thing I'm confused by.
Yeah.
So... So that Spider-Man, that spider cross dimensions is what it is.
Right, yeah.
But what's interesting to me is in Spider-Man India, right, that one?
Yep.
When they broke the event, what happened is the entire world imploded. Why did that not happen instead the Prowler stuff happened in the Spider's world? The world that Spider.
Oh, in World 42?
Yeah. In India, it broke the entire dimension, the leaving a canonical event. But this didn't.
I think the reason 42 isn't broken is because the web never started, right? Mm-hmm. World 42 doesn't have a Spider-Man.
Right.
So it's not connected to the multiverse. Because if they're saying the Spider-Man is what connects the worlds, right? Mm-hmm. There's no connection in 42 because there is no Spider-Man. So everything else is happening.
And then, am I to understand this correctly? Is that the thing that I noticed is, if you're a Peter Parker, there are 10,000 of you. But if you're a named any other name, there's only one of you. Is that what I'm understanding? Also, of this universe, like there's only one Gwen Stacy. That's a Spider Woman or Spider Girl. There's only one Miguel, but there was 10,000 Peters.
That was interesting. How it seemed like, every world, it was like a riff on Peter Parker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, well, I mean, in Spider-Gwen's world, right, Peter becomes the lizard,
Right.
and Gwen's the one who gets bit. So it's one of those things where, I think also Miguel O'Hara, I guarantee you, he's supposed to be Miles Morales, right? Like that's what's happening.
Hmm.
Right, there isn't a Miles Morales 2099. It's Miguel O'Hara.
That makes also
1,000%. It's going to come down to right in Beyond the Spider-Verse.
whenever it comes up.
Yeah, Miguel O'Hara will be revealed to be his world's Miles Morales.
I assume there's something like he broke an event or something like that.
I mean, he admitted that he broke an event, right, and that's why he lost his
right,
daughter.
but like, the other thing though is like, a Spider-Man, a Peter Parker exists in every universe. What's his Peter Parker? What happened to him?
Yeah,
Because like that's the other thing they said too is even in the worlds where Peter is in Spider-Man, Peter exists.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the spiders and Peter are your connecting. I don't even know what to classify it. Like your string, right? Like Peter Parker is the string, and
Right.
I think it's a really interesting idea that taking a look at 2099. Yeah, who is Peter Parker, right? Is Peter Parker the Vulture, right? Is Peter Parker Venom?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to explore. And I really hope Peter Parker and in 2099 has the same result as Peter Parker in Gwen's world where the Spider-Man has to kill Peter Parker.
Whether he knows it or not before it's too late. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Miguel Miguel does that, right? Miguel saves whomever and kills Peter Parker. And that's why he's got that dark side to him.
Mm-hmm.
Where he has a quote, like, it's, I don't like, whatever the quote is. It's like, I don't like that part of me that comes out. And that's clearly to set up, okay, Beyond is going to explore Miguel O'Hara and why he was so adamant that
Right.
Miles Morales follows the
rules.
timeline. And yeah, that's certainly going to be an interesting part of Beyond, and I think in my mind the most interesting part of what Beyond could end up being is this just leading up to a 2099 v Miles Morales?
Yeah, like obviously that's how it ends. It ends with a 1-on-1 fight.
Yeah. But also, like, we have to get Miles out of Earth 42. So there's going to be something where Gwen finds out that the spider that bit Miles was from World 42.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to go break him out. They have to face Miles Prowler and get Miles Spider-Man out. Which, goddamn, I can't wait for that scene between Miles Prowler and Miles Spider-Man. Because the writing for that, I think, will set the tone for the entire movie.
Yeah, I'm super torn. Is it gonna be like a fight to the death almost thing, or is it gonna be like he turns on his side?
I think the fight happens, and it's it's not looking great for Spider-Man, and in comes in Gwen and her ragged band of ne'er-do-wells.
But how fast can she get there? Because she's in the other world. She's in like the original Miles world right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like,
And, like,
obviously
they
they
have to
can
split
they
the
can
group
fudge
also.
time, right? Like,
Right, but like part of you to split the group because we know in like 24, 48 hours his dad's about to die. So there's that really like do you either divide the group, do you try to do both? Like that becomes part of that problem.
yeah, it could be a very, you know what they could really do that would just tear at the heartstrings of everyone. They could make it look like Gwen saves Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
And Miguel comes in and just whips him into the bus or whatever.
Right. Like I do assume it's gonna be something like that.
Yeah. Like the ultimate heel turn of Miguel O'Hara, right? And I think that's where you could really get kind of crazy with some of this stuff of if you really want to mess with people's expectations, why not kill Miles' dad, right? Like, Miles knows that his dad is going to die. That's a canon event. But he's going to prevent it at all costs, or try to. And I think that's going to be a turning point of he prevents it, or one of the team prevents it, right? But then Miguel O'Hara comes in and ends up. Whether Miguel himself kills Jefferson, which I think is a possibility, right? Like, you've seen that he doesn't have that empathy that the other Spider-Men have.
Because he's the only Spider. Like the infamous thing is he's the only Spider without a sense of humor. Is kind of the joke.
He's also
Like-
the only one that has an offensive
Power.
suit
Yeah.
with the nails. Which, by the way, I think, side tangent, I just finished Miles Morales, the PlayStation game. The Prowler suit in that is fucking awesome. Because it gives him the claws. He doesn't do anything with it, but that suit is just awesome. And it's really funny because we're already on spoiler cast, so I'm going to spoil Miles Morales the game. Depending on the order that you do the Prowler stuff, like, you know me, I just like blast through the side things and just get them done. Right? I try to get the burrows to 100% and just leave them until something comes up, and then I just go do all of those. And so, you know, I don't progress the story very fast because I'm doing all the side stuff, and then I'll just kind of make story mode easy. And so you do the Prowler missions, you get the Prowler suit after defeating the Prowler, and then obviously Prowler turns on you, sells you out, and then he's there to help at the end. So seeing Prowler there, and then you're in your Prowler suit, there are some hilarious moments when you think of like the context of how Miles would have gotten that suit. The only way for him to get that is to defeat Uncle Aaron. And then you're just standing in that suit, and Uncle Aaron as Prowler shows up to help you. And, you know, obviously the characters don't react to what suit you're in, but it would be pretty funny. Just thinking about that, because I was like, the context of me having this suit and beating the shit out of my best friend, and then basically becoming a nuke You've beaten that game, right? And yeah, that final shot of, Finn carrying you into the heavens and basically recreating that, what's the famous painting of the angel taking Jesus up and the sun's behind the angel? Like, they basically recreate that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the name of it.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man falls back to Earth. Oh, no, so the best part of having the Prowler suit is I did that before Miles tells his mom that he's Spider-Man. So this whole emotional scene where, like, any other suit, it's fine, right? Because it's a Spider-Man suit. But Miles is in his Prowler suit, and Rio would know who the Prowler is. Like, what do you think her reaction would be is if she opened the door, sees her son in a Prowler Spider-Man suit?
Right.
Like, she would freak the fuck out.
Right, that makes sense.
Not just because your son's Spider-Man, but your son's Spider-Man and he's working with the guy, well, she knows who the Prowler is, right? Like, there's audio logs that you get where it's, it comes out.
Early on, it's been like a thing for decades that he was, yeah.
So she would have known who the Prowler is. So for that to be, like, how she finds out that he's Spider-Man is that he's working with Prowler. And I'm just like, I'm thinking that through my head as that scene is happening. I'm going, oh shit, this is like, if it took notice of what suit you were wearing, God, this cutscene would be way more emotional. And there were some too where, like, I was wearing the Spider-Verse one, not the one that is, not the suit that gives you the like, choppy animation. There's two Spider-Verse suits. There's one that you look like a cartoon, and it's normally fine, right? Because you don't see his face, so you don't see this photorealistic face. But I got into a cutscene where he takes his mask off. So here's this photorealistic Miles Morales head to the neck, and then it's this weird cel-shaded outfit, which I thought was hilarious. But anyway, back to the movie. The actual spoiler cast that we're here for. Spot's gonna be like a super villain, right? Like,
yeah. So I'm Spot to me isn't like, I'm torn. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of torn on him. And, like, he's interesting, but I'm concerned that he's so powerful that I feel like that whenever he's beat, it's just gonna feel not right.
the question is, do they beat him? Right? Like, is the climax of Beyond the Spider-Verse Miles and the team beating Spot, or is it Miles and the team beating Miguel?
Or
which is what I think is more likely.
Is it one of those that, like, so multiverse is this weird, confusing thing, right? You explain things a bunch of ways. Do we think, like, Miguel is the consequence of fucking... No, Miguel. Do we think Spot is the consequence of fucking with the multiverse, and that's the thing we don't know?
I mean, I don't know if... Well, I mean, obviously his backstory is explained, so I don't know if it's, like... If that's the reasoning behind it. Because... irregardless if Miles was bitten or not, that reactor showdown would have happened. Right? Wilson Fisk would have tried to bridge the
Sure,
gap.
but there could be some, like argument that if it was the actual Spider-Man supposed to be there, maybe it happens differently. Maybe
Well, he was there.
Point.
That was the thing, right? Like, it
Not
was
the right
Miles
Spider-Man.
and Peter.
But it wasn't the correct Peter. Like, if the Peter from that world, it, like, naturally stops this event from happening.
Yeah.
Remember, the Peter from that world was killed.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be some weird, like, if too many Spider-Man get together, events like that happen that they can't beat. It reminds me of, like, I know it's a really bad example, like, you know, the movie Hancock, like the whole, like,
Yeah.
they can't be near each other because otherwise, like, they'll start dying. Like, it's the same thing. Maybe it's that.
I don't know if they would go that deep in explaining it. I think they'll probably stick more to the theory that Spot starts to understand the multiverse and how to exploit it.
So and I guess my problem with that is we need to start seeing that consequence. Otherwise, to me, it feels weird.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
But there's only one Spot, right? It's still the
Yeah.
case of there's still only one of him. So even if
well,
you
as
go
far as we
places-
know, there's only one Spot.
right? It's not like the case of like Ultron as like a Marvel villain where like you could have infinite of them kind of going at once. There really is only, it's like Spot has to choose what universe he's in. So even if he like starts to go places, learn new stuff, like there's still one of them who has to decide where he is at any moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because, right, like, the Spider-Punk gauntlet that Gwen gets is clearly, like, not... It's homebrew tech.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so... There are other ways to interact with the multiverse than, obviously, the Spider Society stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And... Also, like, that whole Spider Society, once you find out, like, 2099's reasoning why he hates Miles, all that shit starts to make sense.
Right. Of like why you didn't want him there and
Yeah.
stuff.
Because you know Gwen brought his name up,
10,000
brought Miles'
times.
names up as a
But
member.
I'm super curious how much they know where all the Spider-Men are, even if they haven't chose to join them.
Yeah, because, I mean, they don't really... Until the very end, when we see that shot of all of them on the church, they don't bring up the other Spider-Men from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it kind of gives this, like... How can they track someone that's not part of the society?
Right.
And that was the whole point, right? Like, Spider-Punk says, you know, I'm out of here, and ditches his Spider Society thing, his portal gun, if you will. And yeah, I mean, if Spider-Punk can make his own, Gwen is going to take the band of buffoons to Spider-Punk's world. Because they need the ability to portal hop. So is it a situation of she begs him to join, he doesn't, and he's the turning point in the Miguel O'Hara fight? Right, that felt like a line that they were trying to point to, that Spider-Punk actually knows who Miles is. Because he said, you know, he saw Miles try to do the energy barrier break with his bioelectricity. And then was Spider-Punk not the guy that said, hey, touch Miguel?
Mm-hmm. No, he was. You're right.
So, I think he's definitely, like, if we're kind of putting a list of here are going to be the major players in Beyond, I think he's up there for the good guys.
Yeah, I assume at the end of the day he is going to be a good guy. I bet he'll get there kicking and screaming, but I think he will be a good guy.
I don't know if it'll be kicking and screaming, though. Right? I think
Really?
Gwen will plead her case. He will say, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm done with this bullshit. And then you know, everyone's chips are on the table in the climactic fight, and you just hear the Sex Pistols or whatever song they're going to use,
Right.
right? And you just see a Gibson Flying V smash down on Miguel O'Hara's head. Right, that's the intro they're going to do for him. He is going to use his guitar, and he is going to try to beat the absolute shit out of Miguel O'Hara with a guitar. You gave him the guitar for a reason. He's going to use it. So, I definitely think it's one of those where he's on the good guy's side. I would assume we're going to get... I don't know. There's got to be someone else, right? Like, because the villains are going to be Prowler and Miguel O'Hara. So, do we not get anyone for the Prowler fight, and then Spider-Punk comes in for the Miguel O'Hara fight?
Maybe?
I have a feeling they're gonna lose. Like, one of the band of buffoons is gonna die, right? Like, in the Prowler fight.
100%. I don't think it's someone like Spider-Gwen. I think it's gonna be someone else. I don't know who, to be fair. Like, I don't think I would... Like, to me, it makes sense for it to be... What would we say her name was? The anime one?
Scroll to the bottom. Penny Parker.
Because to me, she would make sense because, like, she lost her partner. Like, to me, it's kind of like sure, it still hurts, but, like, it would story-wise make sense.
Oh, yeah, like her sacrificing herself to let... yeah, absolutely, right? Like, that makes sense.
Like, it still hurt the viewer, but, like, it would at least conceptually... It's not like a sacrifice for, like, no reason.
Yeah, it would be a great, kind of way to wrap her story up. Right, she lost her partner, and she's like, well, there's nothing left for my world, basically, so she's the one that takes the brunt of whatever Prowler offensive weapon they're going to choose, right? And the team escapes by millimeters, right, obviously. So,
Of course, it's not gonna be like an easy. Like, it's gonna be one of those like
yeah,
skin your pants type stuff, obviously.
yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I would say she's probably gonna die, right? Like, looking at. So the team that Gwen forms includes Peter B and Mayday, which you're not gonna kill them off. Hobie, which I guess they do list him as part of the team. I feel like he's gonna disappear and come back. Pav, I'm not even gonna try. Sorry, my Indian pronunciations are horrendous.
I do appreciate, by the way, that literally started from an online joke.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate. Also, I appreciate how it's the. Do you know that's the cab driver from Deadpool?
Oh, the guy that plays it. That's funny. And Margot is Margot May?
Yes.
The old May? Okay. And then, well, no, because that's listed, it's not listed as a return.
Margot is...
Is Margot the one that's, like, working at the Spider Society portal?
Are you talking about the VR one?
Yes. Margot's avatar. Yeah, it's the VR one.
Yeah.
Also, they're turning Spider Noir, Spider Ham, and Penny Parker. Yeah, I mean, Penny's gonna die.
I think it makes sense. Again, I think it's one of it feels right.
Yeah. I could see Pav dying because Miles saved his girlfriend's dad.
Yeah.
Right, like Miles tried to help him, so he's gonna try to help Miles. Maybe that's how it goes, right? Maybe Pav is the one that saves Jefferson. Because he's like, well, Miles saved my version of this canon event. And now,
That feel right, I think.
yeah. Also, I know they say that the canon events, if you break one, it causes the what do they call it? The time. What do they call it?
The canon events. That you talking about it all merges together.
Yeah, they call it something.
Hmm.
The portal. Yeah, I don't know if like they actually call the portals anything. Is it gonna come out that Miguel controls the portals?
Maybe that actually isn't a bad.
Right, like it kind of feels like that. Like maybe Miguel has a little more control over the multiverse than he's letting on.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, maybe when he said, "Oh well, he fucked with a canon event in his world, and it caused a portal." No, it didn't. Like his kid just died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, maybe something else happened, right? Like it's gonna be that he's gonna want controlling the portal. It just feels like that. It's one of those where I would not be surprised in the slightest. It would not. It also wouldn't bother me if that's not the case. So, do you think we see? Because I mean, they have Insomniac Spider-Man. They have Spider-Man 2, the game, in universe.
Right.
Do we see?
The live action.
Well, no. Do we see Spider-Man Miles Morales show up?
I think the answer. See, I am super torn if we stick with the rule of there's only one Miles. Like we've not seen anything yet.
But we
come.
know that the Insomniac world is canon in this story.
We also don't know when, to be fair, too.
Yeah.
So that could be that super weird thing, maybe?
Also, I like how they gave Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man, the canonical cover suit. Because it just made him easier to like, oh yeah, that's who it is. Because
That
if
makes sense.
they could have played a great joke and had him be the 100% outfit, which is the Spider-Man in underpants, which would be hilarious. That would have been a really fun joke, but yeah, I don't know. It just feels like since they acknowledge that Insomniac Spider-Man is canon, they have to introduce Insomniac's Miles Morales. It just feels. Maybe they don't introduce him as like a story character. He's just there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, we're recording this like a couple months before Spider-Man 2 comes out, so it's very possible that like, what's the kid Osborn? Norman's the dad.
Oh, you talking about Green Goblin or Young Goblin?
Well, no, just what's the kid's name?
Harry Osborn?
Harry, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, because Harry's Venom, right? Like, I like how everyone was. Goddamn. Clearly, people didn't play Miles Morales because there's a cutscene at the end of that game that the question of who's Venom would have never been a question. Because they basically straight up say that Harry is Venom. Yeah, I mean, is it something like that where we get... Okay. My brain just fired, my creative side, and, you know, sometimes this happens. People that listen to the podcast know that this shit happens all the time. do we get thrown into Insomniac's world?
Do we get? So here's the question: do you think it's like a world hopping movie then?
Like, do we get during the climactic fight between Miguel and Miles and I'm just gonna call them the Band of Buffoons because I think it's funny. Do they start world hopping, and do we end up in the Insomniac world?
If they end up world hopping, I think yes. If I to a point if they do that versus just kind of jump to the worlds for a story reason versus doing the like free falling.
Yeah, I don't know if it would end up like free falling isn't the right idea that I have in my head. It's like it's pivotal points of the battle, right? Like Miguel hits Miles's thing to send him back, but he doesn't get the right world dialed in. Mm-hmm. So you get sucked into a world. Well, then Miles hits Miguel's to get back to where they were going, and so they world hop that way, right? It's not the idea of like Spot where we fell through a spot and we're in a different world. It's
Right.
part of the fight. Like they're getting sucked into these worlds. And it would be very ballsy. I don't know if Marvel would want to do this. Do they end up in the Avengers world? Right. Do they show up during the fight for New York from the first Avengers? Is that how we get a live action shot with these guys? Because we know the live action world exists. Because Donald Glover's Prowler proved it. Is there any way?
But I say, to be fair, we don't know he's from that world.
Well, just there is a live action world, right? So
There is a live action world. I meant like we don't know he's the
Yeah.
we don't know he is the uncle we saw. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, that's true. Because admittedly, I will put my hand in the air. I have not seen the latest live action Spider-Man. Because Marvel movies are ridiculous at this point and they're cookie cutters. Is Prowler in that movie?
No.
Okay.
There's no mention of Miles even.
Okay. So he could be from that world.
Again, I didn't say he meant like it was impossible. I just meant like it's not a guarantee. Or
Yeah.
like we don't know because we saw someone with the same thing that he was the same.
Yeah, it just feels like the way that they're pitching kind of how each one is from a specific world. Right? And if there is a live action world, it feels like the live action Spider-Man from that world will be Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So,
It would be, I think, more fun if they did jump into like a different one, like either Andrew Garfield or Tony's.
oh god, that would be awesome.
I think to me that'd be a fun little. Like
I mean,
maybe
the
nod.
problem is you already spoiled that with the most recent live action one. Mm-hmm. But that would have been a great, like, you know, Easter egg of, oh, they just end up in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man world. Mm-hmm. Like, could you imagine if that's the live action world they show up in? It's like, boom, they're in live action. Oh shit, it's Andrew Garfield's world. Because Jamie Foxx is Electro.
Something simple.
Yeah. It would also be funny to see the scale, right?
Yeah, are they actual size?
Yeah.
Or what's their heights?
I mean, Miguel is clearly bigger than everyone else, but is he like 7 feet tall? Or do they do the fun thing and be like, oh no, your scale is all off. He's actually 5 inches tall. Because, I mean, Spider T-Rex wasn't that big. Mm-hmm. So, if we base everyone off of T-Rex, well, if we do that, then Miguel is like 10 feet tall. But,
Which I don't think is true.
I mean, the end, like, this film clearly sets up that Miles and Gwen are going to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that the end of the movie? Do we get the Tobey Maguire and shit, what was her name? Spider Kiss in the Rain? Is that how this movie ends?
Yeah, like it ends the way that you wanted them to end. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Because, I mean, they haven't
And it's
said that it's
happy,
going to
right?
be more than 3, right? So they've more or less hinted that this is just a trilogy and then they're done.
Because they've been working on these for so long, I can see them, like, want out.
God, how long is Beyond going to be? Like,
Do you think they get close to 2.5?
I was going to say, do they get to 3?
I don't think you can.
They have enough storylines that they could wrap up, that they could get 3, or you're just smash cutting like a shit ton of people dying. Because it definitely has the feeling of like there's the potential that the climactic battle is Miguel versus Miles.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles wins and destroys the Spider Society and the portals. And so Gwen and Miles are on Miles's planet, 1610, I think is what it is. And that's where they quote unquote get stuck.
And when you say stuck, do you mean like forever, do you think?
Yeah. At least for now, because I mean they can always.
I could see though. So hear me out. What if the inverse is that you do the Miguel fight first? They get some sort of not quite amends, and then they get stuck in a universe with Spot anyways because they're both the anomalies. That as long as they stay with Spot, it like fixes the rest of the universe or something.
That can be a way that you do it. Yeah.
Because then it makes sense. The sacrifice, which is their problem, going to be there's going to be a sacrifice, has to make sense.
Yeah.
And then you can explain the trilogy part. But still wink it open because if for some reason 10 years from now you change your mind, you can play around with that.
Yeah. Spot will be there. Just. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I loved the people that were like, when Miles stops the guy robbing the Nike store, he like does something or whatever, and some guy gets hit, and people are like, "Okay, what supervillain is this guy gonna be?" Since Spot was the guy that got donked by the donut or the bagel.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, like, more movies need to do that, where the villain starts from something so small.
Which I feel like in Spider-Man world makes sense.
Absolutely. Like, we don't need Thanos movies, right? We don't need these fantastical villains. There's no reason for them. When you can do something fun like that, it's way more fun. People are way more connected. If you just are like, oh yeah, this dude can kill anyone because he's a space god, how do you beat him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, at least with Spot, there's potential for flaws.
Right. So he's just a
And-
guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy. He barely knows what's going on. And he really doesn't understand what his powers really are. So, yeah, I think that will wrap it up for our spoiler cast. Mike and I are probably going to play some poker on stream here or something, or chess. But yeah,
Yeah, I think poker. But yeah.
we will see everyone with something else, I'm sure.
The SW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. you can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.